Well, I was fortunate enough at LSU to have 4 great years here. We won the SEC, as Dan mentioned, and went on to the Final Four. And I had a very good senior year. I was averaging 31 points a game. That was end of December sometime. And we were playing in Georgia Tech one night, and I scored 45 points. And I was in a battle with a guy's name was Frank Selvey from Furman University. And Frank and I were averaging about 31 or 2 points a game. And I thought, deep in my mind, you can't. And I said, 45 points. Let's see what he did. Well, I walked outside and some guy said, you know, Frank scored 100 points tonight. He scored 100 points that night, and that was the end of the contest. It was no longer, it was now a contest for second place. And Frank, it's ironic that went on, we were drafted in the NBA. Frank was the #1 pick in the draft, and I was the #2 pick in the draft. And his team folded. He was drafted by the Baltimore Bullets. They folded, and he came on with the Milwaukee Hawks, and we played together about 3 years. But you know, then Pete Maravich came along. Frank averaged about 41 points a game, and I think Pete came on and broke those records pretty easily. And then the other thing I remember so well about, we played against Kentucky, I think 3 times, and we were 0 for 3, but they had a wonderful team, Frank Ramsey and Lou Siropoulos, but the heart and soul of that team was Cliff Hagan. And Cliff was probably the greatest college player I ever saw. And it's ironically turned out that I scored 50 points one game, and that set a new SEC record. He scored 52 the next night, and that broke the record. And I scored again and broke the record. So, but Cliff and I wound up playing 9 years together with the St. Louis Hawks, and we roomed together. So, you know, it was great to have competed with him over all those years, and then to wind up playing with him and becoming a very close friend. You know, I had these goals that I always set for myself, and my first goal was to win a letter. Then my goal was to play a college basketball. Then my goal was to be a really good college player. And then all of a sudden I have the opportunity to go to the NBA. I wanted 5 months off and come back to Louisiana, so I picked the NBA and played there. And it was a good choice. Obviously, it turned out really well because I had 11 terrific years in the NBA, and was very, very fortunate with that. But I now ratcheted up my goals one more time. One more time I wanted to play in the NBA and be a good player. Well, after 2 seasons, I had been Rookie of the Year, the MVP my second year in the league. All of a sudden now my goals, I wanted to be the best. I wanted to be the best in the NBA. That was my goal. And if you were the best in the NBA, when you looked around the different parts of the world, NBA players were, you know, the top players in the world. So I had I ratcheted that goal up one more time. There were many great thrills in the NBA. We won the championship in 1958. We beat the Celtics. We played them the year before. 7 games, they beat us in double overtime. The 7th game the year before in Boston. We had a play. The score is we're down 2 points in the second overtime, and a guy named Alex Hannum was our coach, and he called timeout. He put himself in the game, and he said, all right, here's what's going to happen. Pettit, you get it between the foul line and the top of the key. I'm going to take the ball out of bounds. I'm going to take the ball, and I'm going to throw it the length of the court. I'm going to hit the backboard, the rim, and the ball's going to bounce out to you at the foul line. And we got 2 seconds. I said, you crazy, man? Well, I didn't say that, but I just thought, well, you got to be crazy to think he could do it. Would you believe he took the ball, threw it the length of the court from out of bounds, and it takes a big curve on his ball. It hit the backboard, it hit the rim, and bounced out to the foul line. And I jumped up in there and caught it and shot it in the air, and it hit the rim and rolled around and rolled out. When I talk, I often tell, you know, I have 2 or 3 things that I like to tell kids, and I think there are 2 great qualities that I've learned from athletics that will do for people. And I think, number one, I think being an athlete makes you set goals in your life to try to succeed. And as you reach a goal, and I talked about myself a little bit, my little goals would ratchet up every year I'd reach one, I'd ratchet it up a little more. And I think that's a great lesson to take in life, to to set goals for yourself and what you do, and as you reach those goals, raise them a little higher and set yourself another goal and reach that and ratchet it up a little more.